Hello, my dear masterminds. Every lens tilts, every head turns, every shadow bends toward you. The moment doesn't ask for permission, it demands attention. You don't chase the cameras find you. They can't help it. There's something undeniable about presence that doesn't beg, about energy that doesn't knock. It opens doors on its own. Right now, the room is a storm of flashing lights, yet in the chaos, you are the eye, calm, unshaken, immovable. They thought they could ignore you, thought they could drown you out. But now, every device, every gaze, every breath aligns on you, as if the world finally realized what you already knew. You were never background. You were always the headline. And now, they're forced to admit it. You are the main event. Everywhere you move, the spotlight follows. The crowd might not admit it out loud, but their bodies betray them. Necks crane, heads tilt, phones rise. They can't pull their attention elsewhere, because you've become the gravity of the room. It wasn't a request. It wasn't a favor. You pulled it with presence alone. That's what rattles them most. You didn't beg for a stage. You didn't fight for a mic. You simply arrived, and the spotlight bent itself toward you. Now every doubter sits powerless, forced to watch as the very center they tried to guard collapses around your rise. The cameras prove it. The silence proves it. Right now, you are the event, and they are the background noise fading out of the frame. And the worst part for them? This isn't temporary. It's the new order. From this moment forward, wherever you stand, the room will tilt. It hits them like lightning. The room no longer belongs to them. The energy bends toward you. Cameras snapping, every lens adjusting as if pulled by gravity. They thought they were the stars, thought they were untouchable. But their glow vanishes the second your presence enters. Now their names fade into background static, their movements swallowed by the current of focus that centers on you. And here's the truth. They can't process. This wasn't staged. It wasn't forced. You didn't beg for the spotlight. It chased you. The crowd knows it. The silence knows it. Even the ones who doubt it can't deny it. In that instant, they realized you aren't competing for attention. You are the attention. The main event doesn't ask to be crowned. The main event just arrives and the world obeys. This is the moment they feared but could never stop. Watch the way the lights shift. It's almost cruel. The very spotlight they once claimed as their own has betrayed them, sliding across the room until it rests on you. They shuffle, they fidget, they force smiles, but it's useless. The audience isn't fooled. The cameras aren't fooled. Attention has chosen. And it didn't choose them, it chose you. And here's the truth. They know they can't steal it back, because what you carry isn't performance, it's presence. You don't act like the main event, you are the main event. The lens recognizes it, the crowd feels it, the silence bends to it. Every second the light holds you is another reminder that their time has ended. They fade while you sharpen. They shrink while you rise. The spotlight is no longer theirs to command. It's your crown, and it stings them to realize it will never leave you. Eyes are magnets now, dragged toward you whether they want to be or not. Even the ones who swore they'd never acknowledge you feel the pull, their gaze betraying them as it locks onto your presence. They can blink, they can shift in their seats, but it's useless. The gravity doesn't let go. And the cameras? They only amplify it. Every flash, every frame becomes evidence that the world has turned. that you've become the axis around which the entire room spins. That's what hits their pride hardest. The crowd isn't choosing to watch you. They can't stop themselves. You've stolen their instinct, rewired their focus, made attention itself bow. The doubters thought they'd bury your shine in noise, but noise can't compete with inevitability. You don't chase eyes. Eyes chase you. And once the crowd has tasted that kind of presence, there's no returning to ignorance. There's a pause now, a thick silence hanging in the air like the breath before thunder. Nobody dares speak. Nobody dares break the moment. It isn't fear of you, it's awe of what the room has become in your presence. The doubters wanted chaos, wanted noise to bury your rise, but instead they created the stage for it. And now, as cameras flash and eyes widen, the silence feels heavier than applause, because silence means surrender. Silence means the crowd has admitted, without words, that you are the center. That pause lands harder than cheers ever could, because it proves what they can't deny. You've eclipsed everything else. When the applause finally comes, it will only confirm what the silence already declared. The main event doesn't need validation. The main event commands atmosphere. Right now, the world is learning that law through you. Every picture taken tonight tells the same story, and that unsettles them. Scroll through the flashes, and there you are, front, center, undeniable. They tried to bury you in shadows, but the lens betrayed them, carving you into every frame like destiny on display. Even when you're not posing, even when you're simply standing, the camera bends toward you, as if it knows where power resides. That's why their pride is cracking. Because history isn't written by whispers, it's written by images, by evidence, by proof that outlives denial. And tonight, the proof is stacking against them in real time. 1,000 frames, 1,000 angles, all screaming the same truth. You are the subject, they are the background. They can delete, they can deny, but the evidence will outlive them. Every frame becomes a mark on their pride, and a crown on your rise. At first they tried to fight it. They raised their voices, forced laughter, tried to reclaim the room with noise. But noise collapses when it has no anchor, and every shout bounced back as an echo that only highlighted your presence. The harder they tried to outshine you, the dimmer they appeared, swallowed by the energy you carried without effort. That's when it hit them. The spotlight doesn't answer to desperation. It answers to inevitability. And you are inevitable. Now their noise feels brittle, their bravado feels staged, and the crowd sees through it. Every attempt to pull attention back only pushes it further toward you. They became background sound in their own story, while you became the headline without lifting a hand. That's the sting they'll never escape. The moment they realized they weren't just ignored, they were erased by echoes. Now the spotlight isn't just visiting, it's locked in. Fixed on you as if the room itself signed a contract. The more you stand still, the more the energy swells, proof that presence doesn't need motion to dominate. Look at them, shifting, restless, desperate to break the pull. But the crowd has already decided. The lenses refuse to wander, the eyes refuse to drift. Every frame captured, every whisper exchanged only amplifies the truth. You are the headline, and they are the footnotes. What stings them most isn't just that the cameras found you, it's that they won't leave you. Every flash etches your dominance deeper. Every angle writes their irrelevance louder. They can't fight the law that's been written into the room tonight. Attention belongs to you, and once it chooses, It doesn't give itself back. This was never in their script. They imagined themselves under the lights, their names on every screen, their faces in every frame. But the story betrayed them. The stage tilted. The spotlight betrayed its masters, and now every angle frames you as the center. They're still moving, still pretending to own the space, but the audience isn't fooled. The crowd feels the current shift. The cameras capture the truth, and every flash freezes another piece of evidence. That's why their smiles crack and their gestures stumble, because they know the world is watching you, not them. They aren't the event anymore. They've been demoted to scenery. Shadows filling space around the headline. The stage is yours now, not because you begged for it, but because reality itself crowned you with focus. And once reality chooses its main event, no script can take it back. Listen to the room now. No one dares interrupt. The energy isn't scattered anymore. It's unified, pulled tight around you like gravity holding planets in orbit. That's how you know you've become the center. When silence itself bends toward you, when even the doubters hold their breath because they're afraid of missing the next second. This is what main event feels like. Not begging for claps, not chasing validation, but owning the atmosphere so fully that nothing moves without your presence guiding it. The cameras record it, the crowd absorbs it, the doubters struggle with it. They realize too late that tonight was never about them. It was always about this moment, where silence itself transformed into evidence that you are the one they came for. They can deny it in words later, but in this silence they already surrendered. Even when the crowd shifts, even when the lights flicker, the focus never leaves you. It's magnetic, inevitable, undeniable. They can move around the stage, wave their arms, force their smiles, but none of it matters. The cameras betray them. The crowd betrays them. Every lens tilts back toward you. Every eye follows, every whisper carries your name. That's what breaks them most, the realization that attention has rules they can't bend. Once it finds truth, it doesn't wander. And tonight, the truth is you. They thought focus was something they could manufacture with noise, with performance, with empty showmanship. But real focus recognizes real presence, and real presence always wins. Now even the ones who swore they'd never look your way can't look anywhere else. You don't just hold their attention, you own it. The atmosphere doesn't lie. Every breath in the room syncs with yours. Every ripple of noise bends around your presence. This isn't hype, it's gravity pulling, relentless, unshakable. They can try to pretend they don't feel it, but their bodies confess. The way their posture shifts, the way their smiles fracture, the way their hands fidget in the glow of your spotlight. It all screams the same truth. You've become the center. And here's the truth. They know it's permanent, because energy doesn't crown just anyone. It crowns the undeniable. Tonight, that crown rests on you, heavy with proof, etched with authority. The main event isn't an act. It isn't a title you chase. It's a law that energy itself enforces. And right now, that law has been written in the room, carved into silence, and sealed by the weight of every eye that refuses to drift from you. The flashes don't lie. Every frame captured tonight is evidence carved in light, proof that presence cannot be denied. Scroll through any angle, and there you are, unavoidable, undeniable, the subject every lens bends toward. That's what unsettles them most. History is being written without their consent. They can't erase these images, can't rewrite the narrative, can't crop themselves back into the center. Every photograph screams the same truth. You didn't ask for the spotlight asked for you. And as those frames travel, as they spread across hands and screens, the testimony grows louder. You are the headline burned into memory. The event documented from 1,000 perspectives. They can deny with words, but evidence lives longer than denial. The cameras testify without bias, and their verdict is permanent. You are the main event. Every move they make now feels hollow, staged, desperate. They throw on bigger smiles, wave their arms harder, try to stretch their shadows over your light. But the crowd doesn't care. The cameras don't care. Presence can't be stolen, and energy can't be faked. What you carry tonight is real, undeniable, magnetic. It pulls focus without effort, reshaping the room into your arena. That's why they're unraveling. They've realized the role reversal is permanent. They are no longer the center, no longer the attraction, no longer the story. You stand where they thought they belonged, and the energy itself has betrayed them by crowning you. But atmosphere doesn't lie. When power enters, the air gets heavier, and every breath proves who owns the moment. That's why the crowd shifts uncomfortably. They're not just watching you, they're adjusting to you. Even the doubters feel it, though they'll never admit it. Their laughs fade quicker, their words stumble harder, their confidence collapses faster because the atmosphere doesn't serve them anymore. It crowns you without announcement, pressing their pride into silence. Cameras catch it. The crowd feels it, and the silence cements it. You didn't just step into the spotlight. You rewrote the room itself, bending reality until every second screams the same truth. You are the main event. Look at them. Every pair of eyes tells a story they can't put into words. Some are wide with awe, some are narrowed with envy. Others dart away like they're afraid of being caught staring. But all of them betray the same truth. They can't escape you. Attention has become instinct, and instinct doesn't lie. Even the ones who swore they'd never acknowledge you have their gaze chained to your presence. That's the cruelty of real dominance. You don't need applause to confirm it, because their eyes already testify. Every glance is evidence. Every stare a confession. Every stolen look, another admission that they've been dethroned. They thought they could choose where to focus, but choice has nothing to do with this. Focus has laws, and tonight those laws serve you. You aren't demanding their eyes. You've already owned them. They still try, don't they? Forcing laughter, tossing lines into the air, pretending they can pull the spotlight back with noise. But every sound they make betrays them. Their jokes land flat. Their voices tremble. Their timing falters. The audience hears it. The cameras catch it. And the silence around them grows heavier with every failed attempt. Because once attention locks, noise can't break it. It only exposes desperation, and desperation is louder than words. They thought volume equaled control, but the crowd isn't fooled. They can see the cracks, feel the shift, sense the weakness. Noise doesn't dominate when presence already owns the stage. The harder they fight, the smaller they appear, and the more obvious it becomes. They aren't the story anymore. Their background static fading into irrelevance while you stand as the signal the world tunes into. No matter how the stage shifts, no matter how many distractions they throw, the spotlight stays fixed on you. It isn't technology, it's truth. Cameras swing back, eyes snap forward, silence bends every time you move. That's why their pride fractures, because they realize this isn't temporary. You didn't borrow the moment. The moment belongs to you. They can't drag it away, can't dim it, can't steal it. The light itself has chosen, and once it chooses, it never retreats. Every flash cements your place. Every frame adds another layer, sealing their denial. You've become the headline, the focus, the gravity pulling everything into orbit. And that permanence burns them deeper than defeat, because defeat ends. But this is forever. The spotlight is no longer borrowed stage property. It's your crown welded into place, glowing above you with relentless certainty. This is the moment they feared, but could never stop. You didn't claw your way into the spotlight. It unfolded around you, exposing the truth they tried to bury. Every camera, every whisper, every angle now testifies that you aren't a side note or background act. You are the show itself. That's why the atmosphere feels heavier, why silence presses on their shoulders, why their confidence shrinks each second you remain. Because deep down, they know what the crowd has already decided. The night no longer belongs to them. It belongs to you. And this truth isn't fragile. It won't fade once the lights dim or the noise fades. It's etched permanently into memory, into image, into story. The main event doesn't ask to be acknowledged. The main event forces the world to shift. Tonight you became that shift, and nothing can undo it. What stings them most isn't just that you took the spotlight. It's that the proof is everywhere now. Every phone in the crowd holds a piece of your rise. Every lens caught your dominance from a different angle. Every clip echoes with your presence. They can't erase it, can't distort it, can't bury it beneath denial. Evidence spreads faster than excuses, and tonight the evidence is undeniable. Scroll through the feeds, rewind the footage, play back the flashes. It all screams the same verdict. You are the main event. And that permanence hits harder than any words you could say. Because while their pride will beg to rewrite the story, the images will never obey. Every replay is another reminder. Every share another mark. You didn't just own the moment. You immortalized it. And now the proof of your rise will follow them everywhere. Look at them now, still trying to smile, still trying to posture, still pretending the focus hasn't slipped through their fingers. But the crowd knows, the cameras know, even they know. Pretending doesn't change the law of the room. And the law is simple. When the spotlight crowns truth, it abandons imitation. Their act, once loud and polished, now looks hollow under the weight of your presence. Every forced gesture only exposes the cracks deeper. They can't fake what you carry naturally, can't manufacture what radiates from you without effort. And the harder they cling to their illusion, the more the audience turns away. Bored by performance, drawn to authenticity, this is their collapse. Not sudden, not dramatic, but humiliatingly quiet. Because nothing is louder than the silence of a crowd that has stopped believing in them, and nothing is sharper than realizing they've been replaced by the real thing. The room itself obeys you now. Every breath, every heartbeat, every flicker of silence bends in your direction. You don't need to raise your voice. Don't need to wave your arms. The atmosphere carries your message louder than noise ever could. That's the difference between you and them. They strive for attention, but attention strives for you. It circles you, clings to you, crowns you without ceremony. Even the doubters can't resist it. Their eyes betray them, their posture admits it, their silence confirms it. You've shifted the entire rhythm of the night just by existing in the center. And the irony? They once mocked you for not belonging here. Now, they can't imagine the stage without you. You've become the rhythm, the pulse, the undeniable gravity that holds the room together. The event doesn't move forward unless you allow it. You don't just stand in the spotlight, you command it. Tonight isn't just a moment. It's a marker, a fracture line between what was and what will always be. Every flash, every whisper, every silence is writing your story in real time, and the truth is undeniable. You aren't passing through the spotlight, you're cementing yourself as its permanent owner. They thought history would forget you, but history doesn't forget main events. It immortalizes them. Already, the narrative is leaving their hands, spreading into the crowd, traveling through every camera, every feed, every story shared beyond this room. And the legacy being carved isn't theirs, it's yours. Years from now, when they look back, this will be the night they remember. Not because of them, but because of you. Because the rise you staged here turned their relevance into a footnote. And footnotes fade, but headlines never fade. And now, the truth can't be hidden. The spotlight has chosen, the cameras have testified, the silence has crowned you. You didn't strive for this moment, you embodied it until it bent toward you. That's what stings them most. You didn't chase, you didn't beg, you didn't plead. You arrived, and the world shifted. Every eye in the room, every lens in the crowd, every whisper in the silence declares the same verdict. You are the main event. They can fumble with excuses. They can grasp at the shadows, but history has already sealed the record. Their relevance fades. Your dominance hardens. From this night forward, your name isn't background, it's headline. Your presence isn't optional, it's the axis. The crown they thought was theirs has welded itself to you, glowing with authority they can't deny. And now the story is permanent. The main event isn't them, it's you. Hello, my dear masterminds. Tell me, did you feel that sudden shift in the air? That sharp draft that didn't come from the window? Every narcissist in a 100-mile radius just froze mid-performance. The mask slipped, the smile cracked. Their body told the truth before their mouth could twist another lie. They felt it. The cold reminder that their games no longer work on you. You didn't swing a force. You didn't shout revenge. You simply existed with a frequency they can't metabolize. And in that moment, the predators knew they were prey. Every manipulator, every gaslighter, every wolf in cheap perfume. They all looked over their shoulders at once, and they couldn't explain why. But deep down, they know. Their empire of mirrors is cracking, and you are the reason the glass is breaking. Look closer. Can you hear it? That silence after a punchline fails. That awkward pause when a predator realizes the audience isn't laughing. That's the sound echoing in narcissists' minds right now. Their tricks, the gaslight, the smear, the sudden rage, it all feels hollow. They feel exposed, like someone turned on a cold spotlight above their stage. Their hearts race, not with power, but with panic, because you've become the one thing they cannot script around: unpredictability. You don't react on cue. You don't feed their theater. You sit still, you breathe slow, and the temperature drops. And when narcissists feel cold, they know warmth is gone. Their supply evaporated, their echo chamber fractured. You didn't confront them. You just became the winter that makes their masks brittle enough to break. Do you know what a narcissist fears most? Not exposure, not confrontation. They fear silence. Because silence is a mirror that doesn't lie. And tonight, that mirror has fogged over with frost. Every narcissist within reach suddenly felt their lines vanish, their charm glitch, their rehearsed manipulation scripts turn to static. They try to smile, but their lips tremble. They try to talk, but their throat tightens. Why? Because for the first time they sense something colder than their cruelty. You walked into the room without a word, and the temperature dropped 10 degrees. You didn't accuse them. You didn't call them out. You simply stood there, and their empire of fake warmth froze mid-sentence. The predators felt it, the chill of irrelevance, the end of their game. Do you notice how quiet it gets when predators sense danger? The silence isn't peace, it's panic. Right now, every narcissist within range is scanning the air like prey animals who just felt the shadow of a hawk above them. Their scripts don't work. Their charm feels brittle. Their manipulations echo back like broken glass. They don't know what changed, but instinct whispers the truth. You did. You're no longer feeding them your attention, your reactions, your belief in their false power. That withdrawal feels like starvation to them. Their entire empire was built on your supply, and now it's collapsing under frost. The more they try to flex, the colder it gets. They see you smile faintly, untouched, and their skin crawls. Because in your calm presence, they finally understand the hunter has become the haunted. Imagine this. A narcissist rehearses their lines all night, sharpening insults, polishing charm, practicing that smirk. They walk in ready to perform, but then they see you, and everything inside them cracks. Their breath shortens, their voice falters. They can't remember the script. Why? Because your silence feels like an interrogation lamp. Your presence like a cold wind exposing every lie. They can't cover it, can't mask it, because the chill isn't coming from you attacking them. It's coming from you not needing them. That's their nightmare. Their entire power relies on being the center of gravity. But your gravity shifted. You orbit no one. And when that truth hits, their facade shatters like glass dropped on ice. They freeze, mid-smile, because for the first time, they realize the game is over, and you weren't even playing. Narcissists are predators of reaction. They feed on your flinch, your explanation, your defense. But tonight, they felt a chill because you gave them nothing. You stopped supplying the theater. You stopped dancing to their music. And when the music stops, the masquerade collapses. They tremble, not because you shouted, but because you stayed silent. Silence is their apocalypse. They stare into your calm eyes and feel the walls of their empire closing in. Their greatest fear isn't exposure, it's irrelevance. And that's what you've become, the walking void where their tricks dissolve. Every narcissist within miles knows it now. They can sense it like frost on their skin. Their games have no grip, no teeth, no stage. And you've become the winter they can't survive. Do you feel it? That subtle tightening in the air, that eerie stillness. Every narcissist within 100 miles feels it crawling under their skin right now. Their frame trembles with the weight of silence. Their breath shortens like the room itself forgot to breathe. They pretend it's nothing, just a draft, just the weather. But inside, panic grips their chest. Because they know the truth. You've stepped out of their script. You're no longer the supply they can siphon from, no longer the mirror that reflects their delusions. And when the mirror refuses to play, their entire image fractures. The chill is a prophecy. Their kingdom of lies is collapsing, one frozen crack at a time. And they can't stop it, because the frost isn't outside them, it's already seeping through their veins. Narcissists thrive on control. Every word they speak is a hook, every gesture a trap, every silence a test. But what happens when control itself slips through their hands? Right now, every manipulator within reach feels that terror. Their scripts are failing, their grip loosening, their tricks dissolving like snow in fire. They feel the chill because they realize you're no longer in their orbit. You've stepped into your own gravity. You don't flinch, don't fold, don't feed their hunger. And without fuel, their empire shakes. Their carefully constructed webs snap strand by strand. They know why the air feels heavy, why their chest feels tight, because you've become the one presence they can't bend. And when narcissists can't control, they collapse. Picture their kingdom, built on mirrors, every reflection carefully angled, every illusion polished, every lie rehearsed. Now picture frost spreading across that glass, hairline cracks whispering through every surface. That's what just happened inside every narcissist within reach. They felt it, the fracture. Their kingdom was never stone, it was glass, and your presence has turned the room into an ice chamber. One breath from you, and the reflections distort. One glance from you, and the masks slip. They sense it. Their empire is fragile, breakable, temporary. And you don't even need to shatter it with force. You just let the frost spread. The cold truth is enough, because when glass kingdoms crack, they don't bend, they don't repair, they collapse. And every narcissist knows they're standing in ruins already. Listen closely. You don't even need to confront them. The air itself is doing the work. Every narcissist within 100 miles just felt the shift, and it betrayed them. Their voice cracked, their confidence slipped, their eyes darted with paranoia. They felt a chill, because your presence rewrote the atmosphere. The room no longer bends to their performance, it bends to your silence. That silence makes their laughter hollow, their words brittle, their masks unbearable. They feel the frost rising like fog, wrapping around their tricks, exposing the emptiness beneath. For the first time, they see themselves clearly, and they shiver. Not from the cold outside, but from the truth closing in inside. Narcissists love the sound of their own words. They speak to dominate, to drown out, to hypnotize. But tonight, their words sound different. Hollow, brittle. Every sentence echoes back at them like a draft through an empty hallway. Why? Because your silence stripped away the illusion of audience. Without your energy feeding their lines, their performance collapses. They feel that chill, not from outside, but from inside, where doubt has finally crept in. Their grand speeches taste like ashes in their own mouths. And in that moment of cold echo, they realize something terrifying. They are no longer the storm. You are. The frost doesn't just silence them. It forces them to hear themselves for the very first time, and the sound is unbearable. Narcissists crave the spotlight. They bask in attention like reptiles in the sun, soaking energy to keep their illusions alive. But tonight, the spotlight turned cold. What once fed them now freezes them. They feel exposed under a glare that doesn't warm, only strips away masks. Every smile feels forced. Every joke falls flat. Every charm fractures under frost. They sense it. The audience is no longer enchanted. They're watching with suspicion. And at the center of this stage, you stand unmoved, unbothered, untouchable. The light bends around you, cold and sharp, and they can't hide from it. They know the show is ending because the spotlight that once crowned them has turned into a frozen judgment they cannot escape. Have you noticed how predators move when they sense danger greater than themselves? They freeze, muscles stiff, eyes darting, breath caught in their throat. That's exactly what's happening to every narcissist within reach right now. Their power was never real. It was theater. Scripts, masks, rehearsals. But when the cold truth settles into their core, the performance collapses. They feel it. The stage is gone. The audience is gone. The applause has died. They're left standing in silence, exposed under the frost of your presence. No rage can thaw it. No lie can bend it. No charm can melt it. And deep down, they finally admit the truth. The chill is not coming for you. It's consuming them. Confidence was their costume. Loud laughter, sharp words, flawless masks, all crafted to convince the world they were untouchable. But when the chill swept in, that costume ripped. Every narcissist within 100 miles felt it, their confidence cracking like ice under a heavy step. They tried to laugh it off, but the sound betrayed them. They tried to smirk, but the twitch gave them away. Because confidence built on lies can't withstand silence. And you gave them silence colder than any winter storm. Now their polished armor feels like thin glass, ready to splinter. They sense it. Their empire was never built on strength, only performance. And the show just ended. Narcissists are addicted to reactions. They study your face like a gambler studies cards, searching for tells, waiting for the flinch, the spark, the weakness. But when they looked at you this time, they didn't find fire. They found ice. A void, eyes that no longer dance to their tune, a stare that reflects nothing back. And that emptiness is unbearable for them, because without your reaction, their entire game collapses. No applause, no audience, no mirror, just silence, staring back. That's why they shiver. Not because you attacked, but because you stopped existing in their theater. The void in your eyes is the coldest thing they've ever faced, and it tells them the truth. They were never powerful. You were simply letting them believe it. Narcissists thrive when the room feels small enough for their voice to dominate. But tonight, something strange happened. The room didn't shrink around them, it shrank on them. The walls pressed in, the air grew heavy, and suddenly every escape hatch they once used, charm, anger, distraction, sealed itself shut. They felt it in their chest, a chill that whispered, "This stage is no longer yours," and it wasn't, because you expanded beyond their tricks. Your silence filled the space like winter fog, leaving them cornered in their own performance. The more they spoke, the colder it grew. The more they tried to stretch their mask, the tighter it froze against their skin. They know now the room doesn't belong to them anymore. It bends to you. Have you ever watched someone try to breathe in winter air so sharp it stings the chest? That's every narcissist within miles right now. They feel it, the torch of cold silence pressing against their chest. They open their mouths to speak, but nothing lands. Their words evaporate. Their charm freezes midair. Their anger fades before it leaves their throat. Because you shifted the atmosphere itself, you no longer breathe their chaos. You exhale clarity, and it suffocates their illusions. They thought they could drain your oxygen, steal your energy, feed on your reaction. But now it's their own breath locking up, their own performance, gasping for air. And deep down, they realize this isn't a chill that passes. This is the new climate, and they will never adapt. Narcissists survive by hijacking mirrors. They force reflections, twist perceptions, demand the world show them what they want to see. But tonight, every mirror turned cold. They leaned in, expecting admiration, and instead saw fractures. They practiced their smirk, but the reflection trembled. They rehearsed their dominance, but the glass fogged over, refusing to validate. That's the frost they felt, not in the air but in their own reflection, because you stepped out of their mirror maze. You no longer reflect their illusions. You became the crack that spreads across every surface, the silence that bends every image. And when narcissists face a mirror that won't play along, they see themselves raw, fragile, empty, desperate. That sight alone is colder than any winter storm. Narcissists run from silence, because silence shows them what they truly are. But tonight, the silence didn't just surround them, it froze them in place. They felt their own shadows stretch across the floor, heavy, unbearable, impossible to outrun. They know the chill isn't from outside weather, it's from the inside truth. Their tricks, their masks, their borrowed confidence, all useless when the shadow they created now overwhelms them. They once believed they owned every stage, every conversation, every game, but now they realize the game isn't theirs to run. The frost has stripped away the illusion, leaving them face to face with themselves. And that is the coldest punishment of all. Not you breaking them, but them breaking under the weight of their own shadow. Watch closely. You don't need words to see it. The collapse is written in their eyes. That flicker, that dart, that trembling glance. Narcissists who once stared through you now can't hold your gaze for more than a second. They feel it, the chill behind your silence. Their eyes betray what their mouths cannot admit. They've lost control. Their kingdom of attention has no subjects left. Their empire of manipulation has no believers, and so they shrink. The louder they laugh, the colder it sounds. The harsher they speak, the more brittle it rings. Every attempt at control only accelerates the frost wrapping around them. They're trapped, not by your attack, but by your refusal to play. And in that frozen realization, their eyes confess the truth. They've already lost. Narcissists once roared like lions, convinced their voice could command rooms, bend people, rewrite truth. But tonight, their roar cracked. Every word rattled, every syllable thin, every sound exposing fragility instead of power. They felt it. The chill that strips away costumes and amplifies the cracks in their facade. What once sounded like dominance now echoes like glass under strain. They know others hear it too. The audience that once feared them now tilts their heads, seeing weakness instead of strength, desperation instead of control. And nothing terrifies a narcissist more than being revealed as fragile. They feel the cold in their throat, in their chest, in their mask. And deep down, they know the truth. Their voice no longer commands. It only betrays. Narcissists thrive in noise, chaos, gossip, arguments, distractions. Noise is their shield, their cover, their camouflage. But tonight, the noise died. The silence grew heavy, unrelenting, and they can't outrun it. They try to fill the air with jokes, with anger, with half-truths. But each word freezes mid-breath, because the silence doesn't need to fight. It already won. Their tricks dissolve in it. Their masks suffocate in it. Their performances collapse against it. And you don't even have to speak. You are the silence, the cold, unmovable stillness that leaves them trembling, grasping, panicking. They feel it in their bones. This silence will not end for them, because it's not the world that changed. It's you. And you no longer play their game. And now the chill has settled. Every narcissist in 100 miles stands frozen, not by your hand, not by your words, but by your absence from their script. They feel it in their bones. Their power has dissolved. Their stage has collapsed. Their mirrors shattered. And you didn't need to fight. You didn't need to scream. You simply stood still, and winter arrived. That's why they whisper now in corners, in silence, afraid to say your name too loud. They know the truth, that predators who feed on illusions cannot survive in the presence of someone who no longer plays. You've become their coldest nightmare, their clearest reflection, their proof that the frost always wins. From now on, when they feel that chill crawl down their spine, they will remember you, and they will know why. Hello, my dear masterminds. For years, they laughed at the idea of you holding power. They scoffed at the thought of your name spoken with weight. Yet here we are. Every room you enter falls quiet, not because you demand it, but because the silence already knows. They see it in your posture, feel it in your presence, hear it in the rhythm of your breath. The throne is no longer myth, it's reality. And it stings them, doesn't it? To know they never placed you there. But they all bow to it anyway. The crown wasn't handed down, it wasn't borrowed, it was forged from every doubt they hurled. Now those same voices that mocked you carry your name with hesitation, with respect, with fear. The throne isn't a seat you occupy, it's an aura that commands. Every room knows, every eye admits. You hold it now. They can argue about status, they can pretend the throne is still up for grabs, but the truth is written in the atmosphere. The crown has already chosen. It wasn't gifted by their approval. It wasn't granted by their permission. It was claimed by inevitability. Every step you take drips with proof. Every silence bends with weight. Every glance confirms what words cannot deny. That's what breaks them most. They thought power was politics, alliances, empty noise. But the throne ignores noise. It bows only to presence. And presence is the one thing they can't fake, the one thing they can't steal. Now they sit in their own shadows, watching as the crown rests heavier on you with each passing second. The debate is over before it began. The throne has a ruler, and every room already knows the name. Step into any room now, and you'll hear it before you see it. The whispers. They don't speak loud, because loud would betray too much, but under their breath, behind their masks, they admit the truth. You hold the throne. They can't help it. The memory of silence, the weight of presence, the sting of proof, it all lingers long after you leave. And that's what crowns you more than jewels ever could. Power isn't in the announcement, it's in the way others carry your name when they think you aren't listening. The throne echoes through their whispers, their caution, their hesitation to move without measuring against you. Even the ones who doubt it can't avoid it. Every room you enter shifts. Every room you leave remembers. And those whispers, though quiet, roar louder than their denial ever could. They don't need to speak it. You can see it in their eyes, the way they falter when yours meet theirs, the way their confidence crumbles into hesitation. Eyes are honest when mouths lie, and every glance is a confession. They know who rules now, even the proudest, even the loudest. Even the ones who swore they'd never bow when they look at you. The throne reflects back at them. They see the crown they tried to deny, the authority they tried to bury, now standing taller than their excuses. And the beauty of it? You don't have to demand acknowledgement. Their silence does it for you. Their stares do it for you. Their inability to hold your gaze proves it better than applause ever could. Every eye that trembles confirms the verdict. The throne is yours, and they can't take it back. It's not just people bending, it's silence itself. The moment you enter, the noise drains out like water through cracks. Conversations falter. Laughter fades mid-breath. Even the air grows heavy. They don't plan it. They don't intend it. But the silence bows instinctively. That's what real power feels like. Not in raised voices or forced respect, but in the hush that settles when presence alone takes control. Every room you touch carries that hush, like a mark, a memory they can't erase. And deep down, they know what it means. Silence doesn't kneel for pretenders. Silence kneels for the throne, and every time it folds itself around you, it reminds them that they are witnesses, not rulers. They don't need to announce it. Their quiet already surrenders. The throne isn't a chair you sit on. It's a law the silence enforces. They circle it in their minds, dreaming of ways to snatch it back. But the throne isn't made of stone or gold. It's made of proof, and proof cannot be stolen. It's forged in the weight of your presence, sealed by the silence that crowns you, written in the whispers that trail behind you. They can scheme, they can posture, they can try to flood the room with noise, but the throne doesn't answer to noise. It answers to gravity. And gravity doesn't move for actors. It moves for the undeniable. That's why they keep their distance. Deep down, they know the throne won't allow them near. They don't bow out of choice. They bow because they cannot step closer without being collapsed by the weight. The throne is untouchable because it isn't a seat, it's you. They'll never say it out loud, not in front of you, not in front of each other. To admit it would fracture their pride beyond repair. But in their hearts, in their restless thoughts, they already named you ruler. That crown they pretended didn't exist now glows in their imagination every time you enter a room. They see it hovering above you, heavy, undeniable, glowing with authority they cannot deny. And that's the cruelty of it. They fear the crown more than they ever doubted your rise, because once a crown appears, it cannot be unseen. It lingers in their memory, follows them into silence, lingers in dreams, They may never say the words, but their actions confess it every day. The throne has an owner. The crown has weight. And every room knows exactly whose head it rests on. It's not just eyes or whispers anymore. The air itself carries the truth. The throne radiates in every room you step into, bending the atmosphere until it feels heavier, thicker, charged with recognition. People breathe differently around you, speak slower, measure their words like every syllable, risks breaking the law you represent. That weight doesn't come from force, it comes from inevitability. The throne doesn't need announcement when the air itself testifies. That's why they fidget, why their bravado cracks, why their confidence dissolves into silence. They aren't reacting to you alone, they're reacting to the crown that hovers like thunderclouds above your presence. They don't want to admit it, but the atmosphere already declared it. You are the center, you are the ruler, and this is no longer up for debate. Every room has its hierarchy. Who talks loudest, who stands tallest, who pretends to lead. But the moment you arrive, all of it collapses. The rules they clung to dissolve, the pecking order disintegrates, and the throne rewrites the structure. You don't compete for attention, attention surrenders. You don't chase respect, respect folds itself at your feet. And the strangest part? Even those who despise you obey it. Their pride may resist, but their instincts betray them. They lower their voices, they shrink their gestures, they hesitate before moving. That hesitation is proof. The throne doesn't just exist, it commands. And once it commands, the order of the room is rewritten in your favor. They can deny it in words, but their behavior tells the truth. They are subjects now, and you are the law that governs them. It doesn't end when you leave. The throne follows them, shadows them, lives in their memory like a ghost they can't shake. Even in rooms where you're absent, the silence returns, reminding them of who truly owns the crown. They try to laugh louder, move bolder, pretend the hierarchy has reset, but the air betrays them. The throne's shadow stretches into every space they touch, and no matter how far they run, they feel it pressing against their pride. That's the torment. You don't have to be present for your presence to rule. They carry it in whispers, in hesitation, in the restless way their eyes scan doors expecting you to walk in. The throne doesn't just live in one room. It follows them across every room, reminding them that power is no longer shared. It's yours, and it follows like fate. Denial used to be their tool. They'd scoff, roll their eyes, laugh you out of the room. But now denial has abandoned them, because every room repeats the same verdict, and no amount of noise can drown it out. They see it in the silence that greets you, in the eyes that bow before yours, in the weight of an atmosphere that bends without command. Denial crumbles when reality is this loud, and that's why they look broken, because they can't argue against what every witness already knows. The throne doesn't ask for their agreement. It doesn't beg for acknowledgement. It simply exists, immovable, unshakable, crowned by truth itself. They can try to spin stories, but truth is heavier than lies. And the truth sits on your shoulders like a mantle they can never take away. The throne is yours. Denial is over. Listen closely. Their silence speaks louder than any insult they ever threw. It's the silence of recognition, the silence of people who swore you'd never rise but now choke on the proof. They want to talk, want to laugh, want to pretend they still hold ground, but the air has stripped their voices away. And that silence isn't empty. It's full of tension, full of confession, full of the weight of your authority pressing on them from every angle. They don't have to say the words. Their quiet already admits it. The throne is no longer contested. It belongs to you. Every pause, every hesitation, every moment of speechlessness is another bow, another surrender, another crown placed upon your presence. Their silence confirms what their pride refuses to. You hold the throne, and nothing can change it. They once believed power was noise. The loudest laugh, the sharpest insult, the boldest move, but you shattered that illusion. Power isn't in noise, it's in gravity. It's in the way the room rearranges itself around you, the way people shift without realizing, the way silence bends into obedience. That's why the throne is unshakable, because it isn't built on performance. It's built on inevitability. And now every room they enter feels different, because your presence redefined what power means. They measure themselves against you and fall short every time, because they realize the truth they never wanted to face. They can fake noise, but they can't fake gravity. And gravity always wins. That's the throne you carry. Not a seat to sit on, but a law that rewrites reality. Crowds used to overwhelm you with volume, drowning you in noise they mistook for strength. But now the throne speaks louder than 1,000 voices combined. One step from you and the volume collapses. One look and the noise fractures into silence. They hate it, but they can't stop it, because the crowd isn't obeying them anymore. It's obeying the weight you carry. That's the power of the throne. It doesn't beg for quiet. It demands it without sound. And the silence that follows isn't empty. It's electric, charged, vibrating with the unspoken truth that everyone already knows. You don't fight the crowd. You own it. Their silence is proof. Their stares are proof. And the trembling in their pride is proof. The throne isn't built on applause. It's built on the hush that crowns you the moment you arrive. Even when you're gone, the throne lingers. It trails behind them like a shadow. They can't shake. They try to reclaim their bravado in other rooms, try to act like the crown was never placed, but the memory follows them everywhere. People bring your name up. Whispers resurface. Silence cuts their laughter short. They can't escape it, because the throne doesn't vanish when you leave. It multiplies. It becomes rumor. It becomes story. It becomes legend. And soon the legend enters rooms before you do. That's what unsettles them most. You don't need to be present for the throne to rule. It governs through memory, through echoes, through the way people shift whenever your name surfaces. They wanted to believe your reign was temporary. Instead, it became their permanent shadow, a reminder that the throne belongs to you in every space they enter. They'll never admit it out loud, but deep in their silence, even the doubters respect what they see. Because authority, this pure, can't be faked, can't be staged, can't be borrowed. They know it. Their pride won't let them say it, but their eyes confess it every time they glance at you. Respect isn't in their words, it's in their hesitation. It's in the way they measure their tone, the way they lower their laughter, the way they pause before speaking when you're near. That's the throne's true victory, forcing even enemies to bend without command. They don't clap, they don't cheer, but the restraint in their behavior is louder than applause. Deep down, they know the crown doesn't rest on pretenders. It rests on the undeniable, and no matter how much they resist, their instincts already surrendered to the throne you hold. Notice how moments stretch when you arrive. Seconds feel longer, breaths feel heavier, and silence holds itself like it doesn't want to break. That's the throne bending time itself. It slows the room, magnifies every glance, sharpens every pause, until all that exists is you. They feel it but can't explain it. The strange gravity that turns ordinary minutes into monuments. And that's what makes your presence unforgettable. While their noise dissolves like smoke, your silence carves itself into memory, permanent and unshakable. Time bends for rulers, not pretenders. And tonight, the clock itself bows. Every tick echoes your authority. Every pause extends your reign. They thought power was loud and fleeting, but you proved it's quiet and eternal. The throne isn't just in the room, it's in the very rhythm of time that obeys you. Here's the truth: they can't bear. They are no longer defined by their own names, their own noise, their own presence. They are defined by you. Every room measures them against your silence. Every whisper compares them to your crown. Every pause exposes how small they look next to your shadow. And the more they resist, the sharper the contrast becomes. They thought they could outshine you with volume, but volume fades. They thought they could bury you in doubt, but doubt only built your throne higher. Now they exist as background characters in the story they tried to erase. Their relevance is tied to your dominance, their identity bound to the fact that you sit on the throne they once mocked. They wanted to rule, but instead they've been reduced to proof that the throne chose correctly. You don't lift a hand, don't raise a voice, don't demand obedience, yet it arrives anyway. That's the throne's truest power. It commands without commands. Watch how they move slower when you step into the room, how conversations falter, how laughter dries up before it leaves their mouths. None of it was ordered, yet all of it obeys. Because authority this deep doesn't need performance. It doesn't need spectacle. It exists in silence, in posture, in the undeniable pull of presence. That's what leaves them restless at night. The realization that you don't have to try anymore. The crown rests without effort. The throne rules without force, and they are tethered by it whether they accept it or not. That's the difference between rulers and pretenders. Pretenders shout. Rulers only exist, and existence alone bends the world. Every doubt they ever threw at you, every smirk, every whisper, every dismissal, it all crumbles now, in the heat of your reign. Because the throne doesn't just silence noise, it dissolves it. Their words, once sharp, are nothing but dust in the presence of proof. And that's the truth they can't escape. Their doubt didn't stop you, it crowned you. Every sneer became a brick. Every insult became mortar. Every attempt to bury you only built the seat higher. Now they sit in the ruins of their own disbelief, forced to breathe the smoke of their mistakes while you sit above it all. That's the throne's judgment. Not revenge, not rage, but transformation. It turns their doubt into the very foundation of your authority. And no matter how they twist the story, they'll always know the truth. Their doubt built your crown. Step anywhere, palace or basement, hall or alley, and the shift is instant. Eyes adjust, voices lower. The atmosphere bends. It doesn't matter where you are. The throne travels with you. Because the throne isn't tied to place, it's tied to presence. You could strip the walls bare, cut the lights, silence the crowd, and still the weight would press. That's what unnerves them. There's no escaping it. Even outside their arenas, even beyond their stages, the law remains. Wherever you stand, you carry the crown, and the crown rewrites the hierarchy in seconds. They can't undo it, can't resist it, can't outrun it. The throne isn't furniture. It's an aura, stitched into every step you take. And no matter the room, the moment you enter, it becomes yours. They don't get to debate it. They don't even get to breathe without it. It isn't the crown they fear. It's the reflection it forces. Every time they see you seated in silence, every time the air bends around your presence, they're reminded of their failure. They tried to laugh you out of the room, tried to bury your rise, tried to pretend you'd never touch the throne. But now, their pride is tethered to the memory of being wrong. And that memory doesn't fade. It lingers. It shows up in their hesitation, in their restless eyes, in the way their confidence softens the moment you walk in. They'll never admit it. But their pride bows lower than their bodies ever will. Because the throne doesn't just strip them of power, it marks them with the lesson of doubt. Every room they enter reminds them of the verdict. And the verdict is steady. You rule, they yield. At first, they told themselves it was temporary, that the silence, the focus, the crown would fade. But now it's clear. The throne has become law. Not written on paper, not voted into being, but carved into atmosphere, enforced by instinct, sealed by proof. The law doesn't ask for agreement, it expects alignment. That's why every room reacts the same way, why every eye betrays the same truth, why even the boldest voice is quiet in your presence. It isn't chance, it isn't coincidence, it's the unshakable order of things. They can fight it in words, but their bodies already comply. They pause when you enter, lower themselves without thinking, quieten their noise without command. The law doesn't wait for belief, it exists. And this law is simple, steady, lasting. The throne is yours. They wanted to believe destiny was random, that power could be swapped, borrowed, staged. But the throne shattered that illusion. It showed them destiny isn't about luck, it's about inevitability. Every step you took, every silence you carried, every weight you endured was carving this moment, long before they realized it. And now the throne isn't just a symbol, it's the shape of destiny itself. You don't sit in it, you are it. That's why they tremble, why their confidence falters, why their voices thin, because destiny doesn't bargain, it doesn't compromise, it crowns. And that crown fell where it was always meant to, on your shoulders. They can resent it, deny it, run from it, but none of that changes the truth. The throne is destiny fulfilled, and destiny does not reverse. Every room already knows. Your reign was written long before their doubt, and now the verdict is final. The throne is not a chair to be stolen, not a crown to be borrowed, not a role to be acted. It is truth. It is presence. It is law. You didn't beg for it, didn't plead for it, didn't bargain for it. The throne arrived because nothing else could contain what you became. And now, every room carries the same confession. They can't unsee it, can't undo it, can't return to a time before it existed. Their pride may resist, but reality already surrendered. The throne is welded to you, held by silence, sealed by evidence, guarded by inevitability. They can circle, they can scheme, they can dream of reclaiming it, but they'll wake to the same truth every time. The throne cannot be taken. It can only be held. And right now, forever forward, it is held by you.